welcome back to the channel. So I've been spending the last 2 hours of the morning filming, putting the rear caliper pad carriers back on and bleeding the system. So I've just gone back a couple to look at them, and apparently for whatever reason it got blue and purple lines all down the footage. I'm not sure what's causing it. It's been doing it on and off since I've had this camera, so the footage is essentially ruined. And of course can't go back and redo it again because I don't want to. Although it does need a little bit of bleeding again, I think. I'll let it all settle now before I get it back up on the axle stands and bleed it all through again with the easy bleed. So yeah, it's been a decent morning, and I've moved it backwards and forwards in and out of the garage under its own steam very slowly, because I need to top up the gearbox oil on it, and I need to also tighten the hub nuts, which annoyingly are a bigger size than the ones that were on it, which were 30. What size were they? So I believe they were a big bag. I put a tape around it to hold on a minute, bear with me. Mind the shaky camera, sorry. So it was a 34mm, so I believe now the new ones on the new drive shafts, I believe something like a 36. It won't be 35, I wouldn't have thought, so more than likely going to be a 36. So annoyingly I bought this socket new to sort out the shafts on the strip and rebuild phase, and I've now, it seems I need to buy a 36mm socket to fit the new drive shafts on. Of course these are different types. They haven't got the cap and the split pin or the R clip, so these tighten down and peened in against the end of the drive shaft. So unfortunately I'm not been able to tighten the hub nuts. I have been able to tighten the top mount bolts and nuts, so that's all sorted out. I'm just going to see now, give it a crank and see if it fires up. Let's see if it cranks over. First time in about 4 weeks, I think. That's actually quite a quick start actually for it being cold. Mind you, it is really warm and muggy here in the garage, so that probably helps. So yeah, nice to hear it running again. I've done all the checks on the system, all the joints, the new pipe into the caliper. I've checked the leaks, I've checked the bulkhead fittings, no leaks, both sides. But yeah, I think I need a little bit more bleeding just to get the pedal right. But the pedal travel seems okay, so I was a bit worried about that one, to be honest. But yeah, happy days. So I'm just totally gutted that I lost the footage from the process. No doubt a lot of you would have done that anyway. Bleeding brakes isn't exactly rocket science, but it would have been nice for me to talk you through it if you hadn't done it before. But there'll be loads of other videos on YouTube to explain to you how to do it, whether it's vacuum or pressure bleeding or bleeding with the brake pedal itself. Just going to switch it off. Getting a bit smoky in here on a cold idle map. And basically release the handbrake. I've done that on in here, but yeah, rolls nicely, no issues, no brakes holding on or anything like that. So a couple of jobs left to do really is put the car, before I move on to the next subject, I put the car on the blocks, because previously it was fairly low, and because it's an MI engine the sump's low, so I struggled with clearance for the jack, so I dropped it down onto there earlier, moved it outside, and the ride height is pretty high actually. So it's 30mm between the end thread in here, the bottom thread here, and the spring seat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it by 15 each side when the wheels are off, when I do a second round of brake bleeding, just to see where the height is then. The rear of course is still, I think, pretty much standard ride height, but I'm taking the axle off at the end of this year for removal and a much needed overhaul, so I'll be getting that sorted out at the end of the year. But yeah, moving on to this, back onto this, it's another huge step forward really. Yeah, top up the gearbox oil, re-bleed, tighten down the hub nuts, just a general last once over, let them bolt on the front end, and just get it for MOT. I've noticed there's a couple of Jubilee clips that have rusted a little bit, so I'm going to get them replaced, and give it a much needed dust off and clean. So yeah, it's a short episode, I know, but we're pretty much in a good place now with it. I'm really happy. Just bleed the brakes a little bit more. I'll do the rears because I didn't do that. I should have done it really. I just wanted to get it off the axle stands and moving around a little bit. I needed to start it because I hadn't run for a while, make sure that the battery was in pretty good nick voltage. But yeah, really chuffed. So I'll thanks for continuing to support the channel. I'll see you in the next episode where we re-bleed the brakes, reset the suspension height, and yeah, see you next week. Take care, stay safe, bye.